All right. What's up, YouTube? What's up, Facebook? And hello to LinkedIn. We are live. And now we're going to do the same thing here in the world of Instagram. Give us just a second as we figure out our Instagram live situation. We are in episode 22 of the 20-minute showdown, episode 22. Here we go. Help me. All right. Now we're live on Instagram. Sonia, I'm live on Instagram. If you want to hit me up on there. We have got an awesome guest hitting us from California today. She is an international rock star, figuratively, and maybe literally. We'll find out. All right. So she is just hopping on there. She'll be joining us soon. And tell me where you guys are watching us from. If you're watching us right now, where are you from? What do you do for a living? What's your career? What's up, Elaine? What's up, Juan? What's up, Beppe? What's up, Jay Mones? What's up, Chad? Joni and Chad? What's up, everybody? Hello, hello. Hello to Facebook. Hello to Instagram. Hello to YouTube. We're on episode 22 of the 20-minute showdown. What's up, Tanya? How's Brazil? I saw the new place. Tell me what you guys are up to on this. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to everybody. What are you for Halloween today? Spotlight with Sonia coming live. Here we go. What's everybody? What's up, Trey? How you doing, Michael? And hello to Sonia. Should be on here in less than 10 seconds. What's going on to Kayla? And welcome. Happy Halloween to
Hi.
my favorite unicorn. What's up, Sonia? How are you?
I'm so good. Happy Halloween, everyone. I'm not dressed up as anything, but I do kind of have like this I dream of Jeannie thing happening today. So
nice. 3 wishes.
we'll go with that.
Actually, I dream of Jeannie was like unlimited wishes, though. Wasn't she? Was just like, did you? Welcome to all the folks that are logging in here on IG. Welcome everybody on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, but most importantly, watching the replay because that's where most of this gets watched anyways. Hello to everyone watching the replay. If you're watching the replay, drop something in the comments there. Who are you? Where are you from? And you're watching episode 22 of the 20-minute showdown. So what is the 20-minute showdown? 20-minute showdown is 3 questions back and forth live with another sales professional or entrepreneur who are top of their game. And I don't know what they're going to ask me, and they don't know what I'm going to ask them. So that's what makes it fun. So Sonia said last night that she's going to ask me spooky, scary Halloween, difficult questions, just so I would lose sleep at night. I didn't thought we were going to do costumes, so I brought this hat, but we didn't do costumes, so this hat isn't useful. Okay.
I think that's pretty appropriate for you. You're kind of a gadget guy.
Gadget guy. Go, Gadget Nick. All right, so tell us your 90-second story, 2-minute story. Where are you from? Who are you? What's all the awesome stuff you're up to before we dive into some questions?
Cool. Well, I'm here in beautiful, sunny Southern California, LA area. I work in the world of real estate as a productivity coach. So my job is to get newly licensed agents into production as quickly as possible because we know that people get into real estate and they don't really realize what they're getting themselves into. So my goal is to help them, stay and make lots of money and create the best life for their families and themselves and leave a great legacy, hopefully, behind. But if you hear an accent, it's because I was born and raised in Finland. And English is my 4th language, actually. So that comes out usually when I'm usually only if I'm tired or tipsy, like one or the other. And then, I start talking all kinds of funny things. So and then growing up, my father, who's Norwegian, was married to a woman from New York. So my accent really got messed up with the New York thing, for a while there. So, it's funny, how people hear your accents sometimes. Like some people totally hear them and some people don't. So.
Yeah. No, your accent is all over the place. I love it. So what's up, Vanessa, Ryan, Omar, Edgar? So what are the 4 languages, by the way? So obviously we figured out English, Finnish. What are the other 2?
Finnish, Swedish, Norwegian, and English.
And
then
a
little bit of Spanish, California Spanglish.
You speak some Brooklyn in there too. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
This is great. How long have you been in the real estate industry?
So I got into real estate in 2015. I started up in Portland, Oregon, actually. I was living up there at the time and decided to get into real estate. And then I had moved up there in 2010, 2011. Market was tough. It was already then catching up in LA, like starting to come back after the crash in 2008.
Yeah.
But in 2010, it was in Portland, it was still lagging behind a little bit, and so it was tough to get ahead up there. I got into it, and then 2015 came around. I was like, all right, real estate, that's what I'm doing. And I was really happy. I had no plans actually to come back down to California because when I left, it was terrible down here too. I graduated from college right when the crash happened. Terrible time to graduate. So, and I was sitting in traffic. Like, I was young, I was hungry, I was ambitious. I was really just like, let's go. And everywhere I went, there was traffic, 2 hours this way, 2 hours that way. I was just like, this is just the worst. So going up to Portland was a really great move in the sense that it allowed me to just feel like I was getting ahead more,
Yep. Understood.
Yeah.
Continue.
And then I ended up coming back down here in 2017. I had a friend who was doing real estate down in LA, and she's like, I don't really have anything to recruit to because we don't have somebody to help the new agents. And we had been working up in Portland together pretty well and pretty closely and doing a lot of stuff, moving, shaking. And she's like, would you just like consider coming down to the South Bay in LA in Redondo area? And I think my words were, I think I'd rather kill myself. I literally was like, no, thanks. Like,
you didn't have a strong opinion either way, is what you're saying. You're pretty neutral.
Yeah. And then she kind of like tricked me into it. Like, she's like, oh, okay, just come visit me then. And then she took me bike riding on the beach and sunsets and like bar hopping. And I'm just like, this isn't so bad. So
Cali, I used to live in California for 10 years. I used to enjoy it. The ability to have ocean, mountains, just easy access to Mexico, Hawaii. So I used to enjoy different parts of it.
Yeah, that's such a great thing, and I always thought that I would actually end up living in New York at some point. Anybody else here who might have like frequent trips to Europe, the East Coast is definitely seems like an easier option, right? But the Mexico thing is a bonus. That's the icing. That's the
Miami's the best. Everyone tell me what's your favorite city in the comments. Tell me in your comments what's your favorite city. I'm taking Miami. So guys, let me tell you my quick backstory for those of you I haven't met yet. I am Nick, originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I live in Miami right now. I got 2 kids, but was just raised in a very blue collar, middle class family, and wanted to be successful one day. Didn't know how. Played college baseball. Found entrepreneurship at 18. Became a millionaire in the direct sales network marketing industry at 25. Company went out of business. Bought the assets of the company. Created a company called By Sales, lasted 15 years. Some of you guys might remember the Body by Vi 90-day challenge. It was a global phenomenon. We did 2.2 billion in sales, 19 countries, 3.6 million customers, and it was fun, and it was lots of highs and lots of lows and everything in between. But it taught me a lot in a lot of different categories, and that is kind of what's created the I guess the character and the knowledge base and just the grit to overcome all of those obstacles and still be standing. Currently have a business that connects the real estate world to the top installers in solar and allows them to do a commission split. So that's my backstory now, and we are at the episode 22, the 20-minute showdown, and we have Miss Sonia, and we are going to hit her, bam, with 3 questions. All right, I'm gonna hit you with the first question.
Hit me.
So first question would be coming over from another country and adapting into the U.S. How difficult was it to become a high-level professional in what you do, comparatively speaking to maybe if you stay local? And B, what were some of the challenges you had to overcome by being somebody that came from another country here to build a brand and build a business here?
Those are such good questions. I just, I think everybody here knows, everyone knows when they have that fire, at like I can do better than this. I can do more. I should be in a bigger pond, right? And I think I always had that, but I got really lucky because my mom and dad, who obviously, then my dad's here in the States, and he's been a professor with the University of California system for 30 years.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yes. Yeah. And then now, most recently with the Cal State system. And so, he was here already when I was younger. And my mom was like, well, what am I going to do there? I don't want to go. So we stayed in Finland, but they're great friends. Life just kind of took them in a different way. So I think that's my biggest lesson there is like life happens, right? And you can figure it out. And so for me, I started coming over when I was younger, a little bit at a time, started learning the language at a time, but it's definitely a totally different world to just get thrown into it, and culture and things that people joke about. I came here to live when I was in high school, and I just remember like people talking about stuff that I had no idea about, like Barney was a thing. And I was like, they're like, remember when we were kids and we were watching Barney on TV? And I'm just like, what the heck is this purple dinosaur thing? Like, I don't get it. Like, so it was kind of hard to be cool because I was just like, I have no idea. But the other thing was that, of course, there's linguistic challenges. One of my challenges was that people sometimes did not know that I wasn't from here. And so, because I picked up the accent really kind of pretty good,
Okay.
And so they didn't really know. And then I don't look that foreign, I don't think. So for California anyway. So it was like one of those things where I really just, I had people would be like, how do you not know this word? And I'm just like, English is like my fourth language. Sorry, I don't know. So that was the thing. I could tell you some really funny linguistic things that happened to me, really uber embarrassing stuff. Like one time someone asked me like what an orgy is, and I didn't know. And I'm just like, that is a totally different type of a word root in Finnish. So I'm really sorry, but I don't don't think I'm uncool or whatever.
The
So
root
anyway,
word an organization. It's an organization.
that's yeah. So it was those things, But I think there's also like a magic that happens, of course, because there's growth and you learn to deal with a lot of other types of people. And the great thing about California is that it's obviously a melting pot. Well, most of the United States, So it was pretty cool. I liked it.
So not a lot of challenges then in transitioning into new country, new business, besides some linguistics things. That's actually pretty fortunate. That's a really good answer.
Yeah, I feel that I was pretty lucky. My mom works in immigration in Finland, and it's a tough thing, especially if you have like no clue of the language. In Europe, we're lucky with, at least, we have a lot of the same entertainment things and stuff like that. We pick up English on TV, even if we're not that great, like that's a lucky thing. But I can't imagine just moving into totally different, something where you really, really couldn't. Like, that's a tough thing,
So saying it back to you, the hardest parts of the move was maybe just not understanding culturally some of the things that other people grew up with, and then just some basics in linguistics. All right, you got through the first question unscathed, because a lot of times when I have folks here from other countries, it can be they'll have some very interesting or very difficult answers. So, all right, hit me with your first question.
Okay. So you talked about ups and downs in your sales businesses that you've had, and we're in a really weird market. So I think that a lot of people are having difficulty maintaining their confidence in themselves, in their business. Should I really be doing this? So my question to you, as a seasoned, you deal with a lot of people all the time. Like, you're always around top producers, and you're having to, have your game face on, right? So my question is, how do you resupply your self-confidence and your self-esteem when you feel like everything is going against you?
To me, I look at things very pragmatically, right? So if you're going to be, I understand how belief systems are created. I understand that those belief systems are what create results. I understand that we have a reticular activating system that is what's filtering all day long, all the information. So we have our RAS is filtering out 99% of everything we're exposed to, and it's only picking up a percentage, 0.0001% of information that it's allowing into our brain. So then you say, well, what does it allow into our brain? And the answer is it only allows into the brain what it recognizes from our past. So if you're going to be heading into a scenario where the market is cooling off and it's becoming more difficult to sell, and consumers are pulling back on spending, interest rates are high, like, so these are factual things. Well, you have to continually, intentionally, specifically, and aggressively put yourself into environments of people, information, and content that are going to feed the result that you want, not feed the result that you don't want. It sounds so damn obvious, but people just, like, for whatever reason, they don't do it. So I'm going to give you an example. In real estate right now, if you're hanging out with the water cooler with let's say there's 10 agents, and you're at the water cooler with the 8 that are not producing the results that they want, and they have 17 different excuses as to why they're not producing the results, because of the market, because there's, the prices haven't come down, because the interest rates are out of control, because there's 2 agents in there that are still producing at a high level. And you shouldn't be spending any time with anyone that's not producing at a high level, because they're going to influence you into mediocre or poor results. You shouldn't be listening to the news. You shouldn't be listening to the market updates that are like negative. Yes, you need facts, but then you need to go figure out which agents and which producers, in whatever industry you're in, which producers, which agents are getting the results still based on being creative, using new methodologies, finding new niches, right? I remember back in the day, every agent in the country is like, I'll never do a short sale. That was a big mistake, because the ones that made all the money in 2009 were the ones that did all the short sales, right? So I don't know what that is now in today's marketplace, but where's the shift for you? Where's the pivot? And if you're going to sit there and sit at the water cooler and complain, well, these are guaranteed results. The guaranteed results are they're going to be shit, and you're going to find your way out of the industry. So the only way to stay in whatever industry that it is that you're in, talk about real estate in this particular example, is you have to intentionally and aggressively put yourself in environments, in language, in content, in videos, in podcasts, in events that are with the people that are not just going to survive the next 2 years, but are going to win. Because if they win, you're going to survive. But if you're just hanging out with the ones that are going to survive, you might die. And if you're hanging out with the ones that are going to die, you definitely dead, right? So that's my answer to that.
Okay. So this is my follow-up question to you. This is not number 2.
Okay.
Do you have a morning routine that goes along with keeping that mindset in shape?
Oh, 1,000%. That is actually question number 2, because that morning routine is a long answer, but we'll do 4. You want me to answer that one now, and I'll go back? Okay, we'll do that. So I absolutely have a morning routine. It's been asked before, and so this corner little nook that I'm in is actually in my bedroom. So besides this weird man with a camera at the edge of my bed right here, right there is my bed. And everything in my room is very specifically designed. So I wake up, if I look right, I'm looking out the window towards the palm trees. If I look straight, I'm looking at pictures of my family. If I look to this corner, I'm going to see my goals, my habits, my purpose. I'm going to see Gandhi. I'm going to see the man in the arena with Teddy Roosevelt. I'm going to see all things that are inspiring. Above my bed is the hand of God. It lights up a ship that's going through the ocean. Everything in here is designed specifically. So I have 2 different routines. Routine 1 is when I have my kids, and routine 2 is when I don't have my kids, but we'll say when I have my kids. So today, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go to their room, and I'm going to wake them up, and I'm going to grab a marker, and I'm going to write an empowering phrase on their mirror. So they have different things that I say to them every single day on their mirror. So that way, when they get up and they walk into their bathroom, they see something new and empowering on their mirror. I then turn on, I have a gratitude playlist that has about 75 different songs. I'll turn on the gratitude playlist through the entire house. So it's going to hit, it's going to be on shuffle. So I don't know which one's it's going to play. I'll go downstairs. I'll make the kids breakfast. And then on my phone, I have a dream list, if you will, like a vision board, but it's all pictures and images of all the things that I want to do, touch, have, experience, contribute to, acquire. And it's hundreds of photos. It's literally like 400 photos. And I then share that to the TV, and that's now playing in the background, just changing photos, right? I'll then bring the kids to school. On the way to school, we always start a business or do a real estate deal. And we do a hypothetical one. So today they started a train business, and they're going to have a train business in the Rocky Mountains called Rocky Mountain Tundra Transportation or something like that. And that was today's business. One day they started a jetpack business. Sometimes they start 10-story condos. And I drop them off, and then I'll do a book, an audio book on the way back. I'll jump in the shower. In the shower, there's my 5-year vision statement and my 12-month goals. Now they're laminated, so they stick to the glass. So I'm just visualizing the whole time in the shower, 12-month goals, and then I'll go to the vision statement. I'll turn the water all the way to cold. I'll then do the vision. I'll then read the vision statement out loud on what's all cold, and then I'll go into my values, my I ams, I am, and then get dressed and kick ass. So very specific question that you asked me, and I have a very specific answer for it, as you can tell.
That's really great. I love that you're doing that starting a new business every day. I love that. I hope you're keeping track of those somewhere.
we video it at the end. They have to recap it on video, and then I send it to the team, and sometimes they post them.
That's really cool. Awesome. Well,
what's one thing in your morning routine? What's one thing in your morning routine? And everybody else, what's one thing in your morning routine?
Yeah, I gotta get so I'm a habit stacker. I don't have a lot of time. And so I'm always trying to hack my life. Like what are two things I can do at once? How can I knock out these things? So I'm a big believer in the miracle morning routine, the savers, silence, affirmations, visualizing, energy or exercise, reading, and scribing, right? So it's like the gratitudes happen, the journaling, the thinking time, the visualizing. And I think one of the things that people don't really realize with what you're saying, like we talked about being around negative people and also like keeping the mindset in spaces, like you start visualizing the second you wake up and you look at your email or your phone or your Instagram or whatever you're looking at. And I think sometimes people don't realize that. And for me, it was a big affirmation or a revelation that I realized that when we were talking about influences and taking influences from places, we are taking influences all day long, like whether you like it or not, it's coming at you, right? And so I think one of the things that I realized when I was really trying to habit stack, like that, those savers are 6 things, and I don't have 6 things time for all those 6 necessarily every morning. Right. So I was like, okay, well, I can go for a walk in the morning, get my exercise in, and at the same time, instead of reading a book, I can listen to an audio. So like I'm getting the same stuff done. But the visualizing, I was like, okay, so I should be sitting here like really purposefully like looking at some stuff that I want to visualize. And I look at so much stuff every morning. So I just started like stacking my looking at Facebook, or I was actually really into Tumblr for a while because of real estate. They have great real estate blogs. And I was like, okay, these are the most beautiful houses I've ever seen. Like, I'm just going to keep posting these, to keep my head in the game, to bring that, that dream content, visualizing dream life type of stuff, legacy stuff. And so like, I think the habit stacking is a pretty cool trick. Like you figure out what you're already doing and just get a little more purposeful about it and somehow get it in there. So Miracle Morning's my go-to.
Great share. Miracle Morning. Anybody else? Feel free. I see a couple people adding in the comments. Throw in the comments, what's some of your morning routine? What's one of the things you do in your morning routine? Go ahead and drop it in there. Okay. Here's my question number 2 to you. So we reversed this. So you've asked me 2. Now I'm going to ask you number 2. My number 2 to you is, what is the best parts and the worst parts about being a top performing female in business? The best and the worst
part
part.
and what's the worst part? I think that's the best part and the worst part is that there is a best part and a worst part. I mean, you know what? It's so funny because I'm so on the same level with you, like about these questions right now. But you know, there's a struggle. There's a struggle, but you know, I'm really fortunate. I mean, Keller Williams is the #1 female employer in like year over year and year over year over year. Before I was a realtor, I was in the car business as a finance manager, and
Interesting.
I was really good at my job. Listen, everyone told me, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't sell back into people who buy Mercedes. They don't care. They're just going to get a new car instead." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, watch me. And so I, you know, very quickly became like now we're talking, now we're selling, now we're doing all these things. But then you're also making more money than anyone. So now it's like, okay, let's cap this, like this is too much or whatever. And so it's a really interesting thing because I did feel like that was a piece of, I mean, being female is always a very big part of my life. Like and so clearly so you know, but real estate world, I mean, it's a great place for females. I think we dominate the industry, which is fun. And yeah, you know, it's everything is everything, but you know, you got to go for the I would just say don't dim your own light, right? Because of that or any other, you know, sort of what do we call it, prejudice idea around that, right? That or race or anything else. Like you just got to go full steam ahead and have your own goals and your own focus and know that you're the one leaving the legacy. And you know, if something doesn't exist for you, create it. That's what I did with productivity coaching. It didn't exist. I was like, well, this is what I'm going to do. Sorry, guys. Like, this is what we're doing now. So like, it wasn't really a real thing. And I was like, well, we really need this. So, you know, it just got to be, it has to be your vision. And I think nose to the ground and stay out of the BS, so to speak. Right.
What a great ending to that. Because actually, it was going to be my follow-up question was give me give me a strong piece of advice for the ladies out there that are, you know, looking to make some transitions in careers or, and you gave like 3 really good ones, but the best one you said was, if it doesn't exist, create it. If it doesn't exist, create it. What a powerful statement.
Well,
And
hopefully you're in company that can see that, right? And that's not necessarily a female male thing or whatever. I mean, there are certain things, like I'll say real quick about the car business, saying that like when I first went in, this guy sat me down and was like, are you sure you want to do this? Because like it's long hours and like, don't you want to have a family and this and that? And I was just like, I'm sorry, what? And so but I very quickly realized that those guys are there all day long working because they have a wife at home who will cook them food, clean their house, do their laundry, whatever. I would get home after doing all the deals. And now they would give me all the deals to do because I was making them the most money. But then they would punish me to make me stay there and do all the back end work myself, you know, like, oh, you're making so much money. Go ahead and stay here till 1 a.m. or whatever. And I would stay there. And then, you know, I had to get out of that because I was a shell of a human being at the end of it. I really was just like, I was stuck at the dealership and I didn't have anyone taking care of me. I would have probably died. I mean, I'm not even kidding. It was like, you know, you're eating terrible. You're not getting out. It's long hours. It's not the best mentality. And so like, that's how I ended up. That's how I ended up at Keller Williams. I sent out an online inquiry, like in the middle of the night. I was like, looking to get into real estate, right? Nobody called me for like 3 months. And I had already started. I was like, whatever, I'm just going to do my testing and all that stuff. I don't care. I'll figure it out later.
yeah.
And one morning I woke up and I was the shell of a human being that I'm talking about. And I called my boss, who's a really good friend of mine to this day. And I was like, hey, dude, I can't come in. He's like, okay, dude, when can you come in? I'm like, never. Again. Like, I'm not coming in. I can't. I could barely get out of bed. And that was at 7 o'clock in the morning. And at 10 a.m., my phone rang and someone from Keller Williams called me.
Same day.
Same day, they were like, "Hey, I'm just going through some old leads here. Like, are you still interested in getting into real estate? Like, would you want to come in and tour our office?" I was like, "Yeah, today too soon? Like, can I come in right now?"
Act cool.
So
Don't look too excited.
yeah, I was just like, oh. And then I walked in there and I thought to myself, is this real life? Because everyone was so freaking nice to me. And there were women all around, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, this is kind of awesome. Okay, I think I'll stick around.
Well,
So
they hit the jackpot, man, to have somebody that well trained in sales, objection handling like car sales is one of the most difficult scenarios of objection handling because everybody comes to the door. They want to push back as hard as they can because that's the game, right? So
yeah.
they hit the jackpot when you walked into that Keller Williams office.
Well, you think about it, like if anyone's buying a car, by the way, I'm trying to shop and it's really hard right now. But so you go in and the salesperson's job is like squeeze the most out of that client, right? And then I'm in the finance box, right? And I have like 5 minutes with them to squeeze more. And
Yeah.
so like it is a really difficult place, but it's also just a high stress and not a healthy, like you know, I was like, if I keep eating these sandwiches that you guys are eating, you guys are gonna have to roll me out of here. So,
Well, I think you dropped so many good nuggets there, intentionally or unintentionally, just by telling your story. What I heard was just because you're making good money or even you're top of the game of what you're doing, if it's killing you, if it's not your purpose, if there's not enough help there in the company and outside the company, find something that is going to align with your skill, but will also allow you to get your life back. That's kind of what I heard inside of that story.
yeah, and it was not me who thought, "Oh, I should go into real estate." It was all those clients, like high-end clients that I was sitting with in the box who said, "You would be really great at real estate." And I kept hearing it over and over, and I thought, I don't know, is that like I didn't really think anything of it. But sometimes the lesson there is maybe listen to what people think that this is a skill. It's also a skill to go find out like from other people, like, what do you think is my skill? Like sometimes people don't see their own superpowers also,
Yeah.
right? And so you have to, and I love that about my job, that I get to influence and help someone who doesn't necessarily have the confidence or the skill, and that they don't see necessarily always what. And that's why you need a coach, because you need someone to help you see what you're not seeing. And it's the same thing in real estate and sports in a lot of places. And I love that. I always make an effort to like recognize people's as like superpowers, because it's like, wow, you really have something there. And so, if someone hadn't done that for me, I don't know where I would be, So
Speaking of superpowers, I want to see in the comments, what is your superpower? If you got in the comment box, what is your superpower? And Sonia, hit me with question number 3.
okay, so I want to ask you, you brought this up several times already, and I want to know how you empower women in the sales business, because I know your kids are really awesome too, and I know you work hard to empower
Yeah.
them. So talk to me about some things that you might do that other people could do.
So, as a leader, I try number one to build a culture that everyone can coexist in, no matter who it is that you are, where you come from, what language you spoke first, or male, female, young, old. It's about creating a culture of likeness of values, and as long as you like those values and align with those values, and some of that might be, hey, we're fun, we make jokes, etc., and some of it might be we're into growth and development. Some of it might be we're into social impact, and some of it might be that we play music a lot, right? So all of that's part of the culture, and but it hits everybody, right? If you saw our organization, it's just a giant melting pot, right? It literally looks like we joke sometimes that at our quarterly meetings, it's like the United Nations. Like it's like Austria right here and Dominican Republic right there, and Adam was born in Mexico and he was born in Guatemala, and it's just like it's so cool because there's Bahamas, Michael Turnquist from the Bahamas, so it's just this awesome melting pot. And I share that because for me as a leader, I'm just trying to find the best skill and talent for the job, for the function. So
The
to me, that
match. Yeah.
yeah. So to me, that never mattered male or female or this or that. Now, as a marketer, though, so this is different. As a leader, you're trying to find the best person for job. As a marketer, you understand niche marketing, you understand cause marketing, and you start to understand, okay, a female in this role or this function is probably going to penetrate this market better than a older male would, a younger female would better than an older male, because it's just the client on the other end is going to listen to that better, or vice versa. An older male is better for that role than a younger female, right? So as a marketer, I think you're always going to choose and lead and assign differently based on the client, the niche, the cause, etc. But as a leader, it's whoever's the best individual for that function, for that role. Now, on the journey though, this is interesting. It's popped in my head. So one of the things that was super challenging for me, like really challenging for me, and this has to do with specifically female, is my purpose in my career up until 3 years ago was to unplug as many people as I could from the matrix, aka get them out of their job so they could build a full-time network marketing business from home. So I'm getting people involved, and I'm trying to race them to 10 grand a month so they can quit their job. I'm trying to race them to 20 grand a month. And this is really insanely hard to do. To get to 10, 15, 20 grand, 30 grand a month and beyond in network marketing is insanely hard to do. Could be arguably one of the hardest things to do. But then our business started taking off in the stay-at-home mom marketplace, soccer moms. And the Body by Body 90-Day Challenge became led by the soccer mom marketplace. And here's where it became challenging. My purpose, my mission of wanting to help people get out of their jobs no longer applied. Because if you're a stay-at-home mom, you're not trying to fire, the word was fire, or the term was fire your boss. You were not trying to fire your boss because your boss was the kids. So you weren't trying to fire the kids. So it didn't make any sense. So I'm like, shit, I'm too intense and I'm too aggressive and I'm pushing too hard, because these tens of thousands of women, I'm not talking like these three ladies, these tens of thousands of women, they only want to make 2 grand a month, and that's it. They don't want to put in 30 hours, 40 hours, 50 hours to go get to 10, 15, 20. They only want to put in 15 to make 2. So I literally had to rewire everything to figure out how to lead this entire demographic. And it was hard for me because I'd spent my whole career teaching people how to fire the boss. And now they're like, I don't want to fire my boss. I just want to make some extra money and do it from home. And I only want to spend 12 hours doing it. I love what I'm doing. I love not working. I love just being at home with the kid. Like, that was their thing. So I know that wasn't the question, but it popped in my mind, and
it's really interesting. It's a really interesting point because network marketing, I think, is probably one of the only places that kind of mentality. I mean, like in real estate, if you don't need money, you typically, unless a deal falls in your lap because it's 2020. Like, you're not really gonna make any money. You have to like trick your brain into thinking, I really need to make some money, because, like when I got into real estate and I had quit my job out of the blue and whatever else, and and I'm just like, someone just tell me what to do. I'll do it. I don't care. I want money. And so it's a really interesting thing. That's a really cool explanation of that marketing concept.
It was that industry is about just being in a community about growth, development goals, and there's a product associated, and you're making some money on the side, and that's it. But the leaders of it, this is full tilt. They're going 100 hours a week, launching cities, states, countries, right? So I worked really well working with somebody like you who's just a driver. Like, let's go conquer Finland, let's go open it up, and let's go sign up 1,000 people in 6 months. Like that, I would find you, and that would be very simple for me to lead into interact with. What was difficult was the spare timers and the sub timers. I would just blow people out of the water with intensity.
Right. Yeah. I gotcha. The intensity level.
Great question.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Here's my final one for you. For you. This one's it's got some complexities to it. Okay. Think of something that was a temporary defeat. Some people don't identify with failure. So a temporary defeat, a setback. And what was a setback in your life, a major setback in your life that you figured out how to overcome. And because of that, it's now aligning with what your actual dream or purpose or your end game is. Another way to say this is, what's your end game or part of your end game? And how have you used a setback in your life to overcome that to get you more aligned towards your current end game? Meaning you turn the negative into a positive. So what's the end game? What's the big dream for Sonia? And how have you used a setback in your life to get more aligned with that?
Some very smart person once told me that I was in the middle of a mess like that. And they said, okay, I think you're dodging a bigger bullet here, though. And that was a really good piece that I took away with me. Like, I didn't want to, because I think that one of the hardest things for anybody, but especially in business, to ever really fully know is whether you should hold on or you should let go. I think it's really difficult. That's a really hard, like if I could write a book on that, if anyone knows of a book on that, I would love to read it. It's a really hard thing to know, especially for somebody like with your and my intensity. I think we're both like, I'm not giving up. Like, I'm going to keep going. Like, I'm just going to hammer through, right? And it's not always the best thing, and sometimes life gets in the way and interrupts you because it's not the best thing for you. And I believe that the universe conspires to help you to get to where you are if you have that goal, right?
Positively or negatively. Negatively, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, it's very important to be like, this is why the mindset thing is like, especially in real estate, I think it's 90% mindset, but I think most things are. And so, the habits and the quantum leap of the little electrons and those micro highwaves in your brain, and what do you keep repeating and what do you not keep repeating, positive or negative. So I know that you're asking about a specific thing, but I think, you seek to understand. I think that's what you do. If you're in a tough place, like you take self inventory, and you take inventory of, am I surrounded by the right people? Right? Like, I think those are the things that everybody has to do. And this is so super weird because this was the same question that I had for you. But so like, I don't know how this happened, but anyway, but like, I think everyone has those moments of like positive and negative. You could be in a place where it's negative and you're just like, am I in the right place right now? And then sometimes things are so positive that you go, do they have the right person? Like, do they know I'm not, like, like you can be either or. And at the end of the day, it comes down to you and your goals, right? And then you also have to take into it, like, am I still going towards the same thing? And so like that moment for me, getting out of the car business, things like everything fell apart because all of a sudden I had so much time that I could see everything, and you can't unsee things. So I was like, wow, I never realized all this was going on while I was at work all day, and all this was happening in my life. And I'm like having these, and I'm like, there's no going back. And so like, what do? You find a way, you're like, I am dodging a bigger bullet. Sometimes it's hard until that silver lining shows up. It can be hard, right? But usually there is one.
Beautifully stated. What's the big vision for you? Where's the end game? Is a big vision real estate investor? Is it a developer? Is it investor in tech? Like what's the end game for you? The best coach in real estate?
I call it my FU money.
There you go.
So how much passive income can I have in a month coming at me without me lifting a finger? And that's where I want to get to. So I think everybody should have a number. And then you go to a coach and you say, hey, coach, how do we make this happen? What's my 5-year plan for this? And what's my 10-year plan for this?
Well, I think if everyone missed everything else, you just dropped a gem, which is, what is your passive income streams? How are you building them? What a great nugget. We could do another 45 minutes just on that. How are you going to make money while you sleep? How are you making leveraged income? All of those ideas are so critical. And you said you have a number for FU money. Okay, as we leave out the door here, what are 2 must-have skills that any top sales professional, entrepreneur, or solopreneur must have if they're going to make it. 2 must-have skills. Hit them.
You have to recognize the money-making activities. Money-making activities versus activities. And that goes right along with scheduling, time blocking. I think you can't really be an entrepreneur and just go out and not have a schedule. Like, that doesn't really work for anyone. I don't know anyone that works for, right? So what does the schedule look like? And then the capability of like sorting through the noise and focusing on the money-making activity.
So I'm typing all that as you're saying it. So you must have a focus on income generating activities and what the hell is in your schedule? You know, we used to have a saying, it was called empty calendar, empty bank account. Empty calendar, empty bank account. Now, when you combine the ideas of what you just said, empty calendar, empty bank account, but it's still going to be empty if the activities in the calendar are not income generating activities. So what's in the calendar must be income generating activities. That's how you're going to make money. How can everybody find you as we jump off here? Where do we find you?
My Instagram is Spotlight Sonia, and you can find me there. That's probably the easiest way. And I'll just say that ATM is the thing that I lead with. So attitude, team, and mission. And that is conveniently the ATM that produces money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well said. Well, guys, we had a lot of fun with Sonia. Tell us the number one thing that you learned today. Drop it in the comments, even if you're watching this later on tomorrow, a week from now. Happy Halloween to everybody. You can find me at nixlinktree.com. And we are wrapped episode 22 with the 20-minute showdown. Thank you so much, Miss Sonia.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Nick.